All right, we are live. What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. A couple things to go over before we jump into it. Atlanta has been renamed to Echo Park, I guess, Echo Park Speedway or something like that. Going to be the new deal over there at Atlanta. I guess Echo Park Speedway is going to be what they call Atlanta now. So I guess the good part of that is, well, people are still going to call it Atlanta for a long period of time, but maybe at some point, if you stay there long enough, like Lowe's Motor Speedway did at Charlotte for a long enough time, people will still call it Lowe's. So basically, anybody that's under the age of 6 or 7, maybe they'll start calling it Echo Park, but you're gonna have to be Echo Park for a long period of time to get some people to stop calling it Atlanta Motor Speedway, because it's just going to take that long for that group of people to sort of age into it. Like refrigerators, some people will still call them Frigidaires, even though that's a brand. Twitter is always going to be called Twitter, even though it is now X. Things like that. So that's the game you're going to play. So that's one aspect of it. The good aspect of it, though, however, is that Echo Park does want to sponsor a racetrack. So sponsor money coming into a racetrack, always a good thing, kind of shows where the sport's at. Still healthy, and Echo Park Automotive sponsoring that track. Overall, a good thing. Really not much to add to it other than that, but it was a notable newsworthy effort. They've already apparently redone some of the signage at Atlanta Motor Speedway to sort of redo it as Echo Park. We also got the Amazon Prime ratings, and it was very interesting. If you look at it, Prime got this is from Adam Stern on X or Twitter. Prime got a 1.01 rating, 2.06 million viewers for Sunday's NASCAR Cup Series Cracker Barrel 400 at Nashville. Last year's race got 3.24 million on NBC, because NBC obviously is a free, everybody in the world has got NBC, right? But it was weather delayed last year. So that is the interesting thing. And on USA Network, which is cable, when it restarted, it got 2.13 million. So actually pretty similar numbers. Pretty similar numbers if you factor that in, 2.06 million to 2.13 million, slight difference in percentage there, but right around the same amount as you would get on cable. So sort of on par, a little bit of a dip if you really want to get into it like that, but not a substantial fall off there. So they're saying there's no direct comparison, but I think once you get into the cable section of USA Network, it's about even. So interesting that it is kind of about even. And last week, a little bit of a bump to Amazon Prime as far as the ratings went. So I thought that was an interesting deal. And not only that, but Prime continues to be one of the one of the better broadcast options, if not the best broadcast option in NASCAR for sure, but maybe all of motorsports. They're just doing a great job with their coverage overall, their graphics packages. They actually keep the scoring and timing accurate. So that is a good thing as well. And it looked like they shaved off 7 years on the age demographic, so more younger fans are seeing NASCAR on Amazon. So I think, by and large, it has been a positive. There's always going to be people that are upset about it. There's going to be people that don't want to pay that $9 to watch Amazon Prime, and that's totally fair. That is totally, you're right, and things like that. So people are going to be upset about it from that aspect, but you've got to pay for cable too. So it's just one of those things. It's the era we're in, the times we're in. So if you don't want to pay for it, I understand that. But the coverage itself that they're giving is fairly good, and it is a good thing overall that their numbers are high like that. So, and Amazon is obviously using this to test out the waters. So I think if this continues to go well for Amazon, they'll probably reach out at some point and extend their coverage further. And overall, that's a good thing, because they, like Kenny Wallace was talking about it on his Coffee with Kenny at one point this week, or maybe last week, talking about overall it's a good thing, because not only that, they've got the Earnhardt documentary, which I guess I'll start today at some point. But they're investing a lot of effort, time, and money into the NASCAR side of things, so they definitely see value there. So that's a really interesting thing as well. So I thought overall that was a good thing. And another interesting thing I saw today, I'd never seen this particular YouTube channel, I don't think, and I'm hoping I'm getting the name right here, because I didn't write it down, but I think Colleague Nation is the name of the YouTube channel. They were talking about a report attributed to Jordan Bianchi where he said that Daniel Suarez would be staying, and SVG might be the one on the chopping block for Trackhouse. Now, this is all rumor, speculation, but Jordan Bianchi, I guess, has attached his name to it. And the Colleague Nation report, they're not necessarily, from what I could make from that particular video, not fans of Jordan Bianchi. So it was really interesting that apparently SVG is the one that's maybe on the chopping block. It's going to be like a one and done, according to Jordan Bianchi, on this deal, or at least the reports he's hearing. It could be one and done for SVG. And that's very, very interesting to me because you kind of know what you're getting with Daniel Suarez. SVG, this is his first year, his rookie year. Is he going to get sort of the Daniel Hemrick treatment over there? Daniel Suarez treatment at Joe Gibbs Racing when he was there. He's sort of a one and done situation, and you're out. Is that going to be, or he might have got 2 years at Joe Gibbs Racing, but either way, interesting situation. So that is the poll question. And before I get into it, I'll just read the poll question. If Zilli gets promoted next year, and all this, of course, is because Connor Zilic is, they're deciding to promote, or leaning toward deciding to promote Connor Zilic. So if Zilli gets promoted next season to Cup, who would you drop if you were Trackhouse? SVG, Suarez, Ross. Won't be Ross, but I gave the option. Those are the 4 choices. Right now, 29%. It won't be Ross, but I gave you the option. Ross is at 0%, 59% for Suarez, 14% for SVG. And that is kind of where I stand with it. Me personally, I would give Connor Zilic another year down in Xfinity, because as good as he's been in Xfinity, I don't think when he's come up to Cup, aside from the road course where he had a lot of speed, but he had some trouble there. So he's a road course ace, but you've got a road course ace as well with SVG. So I don't know if you're necessarily learning anything different skill set wise. That you've got 2 road course aces, and I haven't seen anything sort of special from him with that extra Trackhouse effort on ovals. So I don't think that he's necessarily any better than SVG. If you wanted to move on from anybody, maybe move on from Suarez. Of course, money is a factor. Who brings in the more lucrative sponsor money? That is definitely going to play a huge factor into it as well. But they both bring in sponsor money. And if you cut SVG or if you cut Suarez, I think a very interested party in both of those would be Colleague. Colleague, of course, just re-signed AJ Allmendinger, or AJ Allmendinger, they announced, will be back for next season. So you will see AJ Allmendinger driving next season. So the man out at Colleague would obviously be Ty Dillon. But you could either slide in Suarez or you could slide in SVG over there at Colleague. And Ty Norris would love to do that. Just grab a driver like that and get him in there. Of course, like I said, this is all speculation at this point, but we're just throwing it out here and spitballing because there hasn't been a ton of super interesting news dropping today. But yeah, that is the poll question, and how all that would play out, and just kind of anything you guys want to talk about. So speaking of that, let's jump into the chat and see what you guys are talking about. In reference to the Fantasy League for Nashville, it was a real cockerel scruffle for 5th, says Sir Wood Rooster. Indeed. 5th place is always up for grabs. A tough one there. But yeah, I did pretty good this week. I think Wise Guy had a pretty good week. So we'll see what happens this upcoming week here at Michigan, where there could be some surprise drivers. Some drivers that are in slumps are really good here, including Ty Gibbs. So watch out for the Michigan drivers there to break out of slumps or whatever. What's more surprising, SVG out at Trackhouse or Cletus with possibly a full-time truck ride with Ram? The Cletus Ram thing, I feel like, is still in probably in the discussionary stages. I don't know if there's anything super heavy attached to that, if I'm being totally honest. So I don't know. I feel like they're just exploring that, and some of those documents may have been seen by somebody, and somebody got excited about that. First off, Ram hasn't even committed, at least in public yet, that they're going back to the Truck Series. So we'll have to wait for that before we can get fired up about Cletus. So, but yeah, if they do it, it is a smart move marketing wise, because Cletus is going to bring a lot of attention to the Ram brand. A lot of people that are fans of Cletus that are looking to buy a new truck or something like that, they're probably going to lean toward, or at least take a look at Ram trucks when they make that decision. So it seems like a good matchup for them to do it overall. Wise guy saying, let's fire this bad boy up. Hopefully, YouTube cooperates. It would be nice if YouTube cooperated today. Hopefully, they let us get the whole thing in without some glitches. What's up in between the lanes? BB, did you hear the Orlando Magic rebranded their uniforms? Yep, they threw it sort of back to the future type of deal. They've got the old Shaq Penny pinstripe uniforms, and then they've got one sort of alternate. The black one has got sort of like a blue at the top. The black uniform not that great, but the blue and the white definitely a good throwback for sure. Let's see. One wise guy saying we can hope, Joseph. It will always be Atlanta Motor Speedway, just like you will always be it will always be the Cleveland Indians and the Washington Redskins, says Joseph Wooten. So there you go. For a lot of people just don't want to change. So that is a fact. I think SVG has the bigger upside. He's still improving. I would say overall, I would say SVG probably brings in more money, but that's just a guess. I don't have access to the financials, and as far as upside goes, he's already a champion and other things. So I think so as well. But I would hate to see Daniel Suarez out of a ride. Period. I'd hate to see either one of those guys out of a ride. It's just a really tough situation over there at Trackhouse with all the drivers that they have sort of under contract. Echo Park Speedway, ugh, I hope that lasts as long as ISM Speedway, as ISM Raceway, says Napa Race Fan. Rest in peace, John Redcorn, says Napa Race Fan. Indeed, the voice actor for John Redcorn, King of the Hill, got into an argument and somebody pulled out the mechanical hole puncher, and that was the end of that. So unfortunate situation. And that's the way that went. It's a bad deal all the way around overall. Thoughts and prayers go out to his family because that's just a bad way to go. I don't know if it was a neighbor but some type of argument broke out, and that's the way it ended. So super unfortunate. SVG only 3 spots in point standings behind Suarez, says Dirty Def. Yeah, so like they're running pretty similar as far as I can see on the racetrack, and SVG being a rookie, that I would take a chance on him because Suarez has had a lot of seasons to improve, and he's won races. He's not a bad race car driver. That's the thing. Neither one of them are bad race car drivers. So it's just a tough decision, but they're both running about the same, unfortunately, this year, which this year is a down year all the way around for Trackhouse. Sonoma will always be Sears Point, says one wise guy. Me too. I still call Sonoma Sears Point when I'm just thinking about it off the top of my head. And Watkins Glen, whenever they race there, I always call it the Bud at the Glen. Like I always kind of refer to the race as that. Like that's what it is in my mind. The Busch Series, even though it's Xfinity now, I do that sometimes as well. Napa Racing Fan 927. I heard about John Redcorn. Very sad and tragic, says Napa. Cable is a subscription. That's a fact. Cable is in fact a subscription. As an old school Georgia boy, I hate the repave and the new name. I guess I'm a traditionalist, says Grizz. Yeah, the repave, not everybody is a fan of that. Hopefully when it gets some age on it, it'll stop racing like, a mini Daytona or something like that. The Earnhardt doc on Prime is a must-see, much more than just another Dale doc. Dives into Dale Jr., Carey, and T etc., says Napa Racing Fan. Yes, she's apparently a lot of people have a renewed hatred. I can't speak to it just yet because I haven't started it. I wanted all the episodes to come out before I started it because I just wanted to binge it all at one time. But yeah, apparently a new hatred for her has been renewed from the fan base. I voted for SVG on the poll question, says in between the lanes. The lanes would go with Daniel Suarez. I guess going for a slight the argument to make for Suarez is he's still younger and stuff like that. And he was the original Trackhouse driver. He brings in funding. So you can make the argument for Suarez as well. Yeah, I watched that. Jordan Bianchi said in The Athletic that, yeah, Trackhouse is still deciding. My question is, if they let SVG go, would another team pick him up? Says Dirty Def. Yeah, and I think immediately the first team that comes to mind would be Colleague. Colleague would pick him up, and Ty Dillon would probably be looking for a ride, and SVG sliding him in there because what Colleague Nation brought up is that would immediately make you the team to beat at road courses because you would have AJ Allmendinger and SVG in those cars. So, you would have two of the best out there as far as road courses and street courses go. So that was a very good point that they brought up. And hopefully I'm getting their name right. Check out their channel. Like I said, it was the first time I'd seen it. And so I'm going to have to go back and figure out what channel it was and subscribe to them with the burner accounts and watch them there. They got to give SVG another year. He's already getting better on ovals, says Grizz. Yeah, I would think you can't. Basically, a former champion, you got to give a former champion more than 1 year. Zilich needs to chill. 19 years old in Cup would be a throwaway season anyway, says Enzo. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I'm hoping that they learned from the Joey Logano deal. Joey Logano absolutely tore it up at every single level. Ty Gibbs tore it up at every single level as far as NASCAR Touring Series goes. So I'm hoping that they learn from those two drivers that you can bring them up and the talent is there, but you're still going to be burning at least 2 years before they start to show anything. So I'm thinking, let him get some racecraft. Just let him mature as a human being. Period. Before you bring him up, but certainly the talent is there and they're going to bring him up anyway. The counterpoint to that argument would be the Jeff Gordon argument. Jeff Gordon just came in and was pretty good off jump about midway through his rookie year. Nick's fired Tibbs says in between the lanes, which is crazy to me. That's why is Tom Thibodeau always getting fired for going pretty far into the playoffs? I don't know. Bye-bye Suarez. I think he's done. Maybe gets one more year in the 99, but the 99 seat will be Zilich's, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, I feel like if they get rid of anybody, I think it will be the 99, which is going to be unfortunate because I do think Suarez is a good driver, but apparently they're seeing more upside in Connor Zilich. But it was interesting that people were sort of leaning that at least the Colleague Nation felt like Jordan Bianchi thought they were leaning toward getting rid of SVG. Like that just doesn't make sense to me. I just don't see that happening. F1 movie will be 2 hours and 35 minutes, says Napa Racing Fan. That's not bad. That's not bad. I watch movies about that length all the time, so that doesn't really affect me. As long as the pacing is good, you'll stay for sure, no doubt about that. Like I've always said this, as long as the quality is good, you don't really care how long it is, with the exception of like 6 hour movies and insane stuff like that. But if the pacing and stuff is good, you really don't mind it. That's like when people talk about NASCAR. Back when people were talking about NASCAR races are too long, NASCAR races are too long. Meanwhile, they'll binge watch 5 or 6 hours of a Netflix show. They'll sit there and watch the NFL all day and not worry about that because the pacing is good, the gameplay is good, the movie or Netflix series they're watching is good. It's not about the length and how much time somebody will spend watching something. It's about the quality. If the quality is good, you don't think about how long it is. I guess is the roundabout short way of saying that. I think if you're Trackhouse, you still have to wait and see what happens with Suarez in Mexico. If he wins the race, no way they let him go. Curious if Red Bull is pushing Connor to move up. That's another interesting aspect of it too. Uh, you would think from that aspect, though, if Red Bull is pushing for him to get up, then certainly you would imagine Suarez is out, right? They'd like to have 2 Red Bull cars up there. In my opinion, I think that would be the move if you're Red Bull, because you probably want both guys there. Guts Glory Cletus, says Napa Racing Fan. Indeed, Guts Glory Cletus, or however the Ram Trucks guy says it. The guy from Roadhouse. I can't call his name off the top of my head right now, but that's who does the voice for that. Hey BB does YRB. He's also the Big Lebowski. He's the guy that narrates the Big Lebowski as well. I can't call his name off the top of my head because the camera's on. Hey BB, does YRB go back to back wins? Says Jamie Schweitzer. He could. Let's take a look at his. Let me see if his numbers are at the top here or not. Let's see. Average rating. He is not strong at this track. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 active drivers, according to driver averages, that are better than Blaney, but he is in the top 10 here. So there is an opportunity for him to go there. He is not one of the previous winners in the last 3 races, at least. Tyler Reddick, Chris Buescher, and Kevin Harvick, the retired Kevin Harvick, own those honors. So we'll see. Ford is usually good at this track, though, so you can't count him out. How come Prime isn't talking about the bracket challenge? Says John Ray. Well, apparently they're still seeding the bracket challenge. The bracket challenge won't start until TNT. So apparently Amazon is not going to, I guess, promote that until it's the appropriate time. And I guess that's a TNT deal. So I don't know. There could be some legal aspects of that as well. Silly season being quiet right now, besides the Trackhouse situation. But how about if Legacy gets a 3rd charter from Rick Ware Racing? Says Dirty Def. Yeah, and if I'm a betting man and Legacy gets that, there's only one person that you would put in that car if your legacy, and that has to be Corey Heim. I can't think of another. I can't think of another young driver that Toyota has that would be any better than Corey Heim in the Cup Series right now. And Corey Heim's getting some Cup Series starts, so that makes me believe that Corey Heim would probably be the pick over there. Uh, if and when they get that particular charter. Hey, BB, my driver Ryan Blaney finally wins. More to come, says Miguel Barreo. Yeah, for sure. Ryan Blaney, he's another driver that when he gets on a hot streak, he proved it when he won his championship. When Blaney gets on a hot streak, he is a hard one to beat, no doubt about it. Kyle Busch posted on X his house is for sale about an hour ago. Interesting. So there you go. If you want to read the tea leaves, Kyle Busch is selling his house. So we'll have to see how all that plays out. Is he going to be the one that goes over to Legacy? Let's stir the pot there. I don't know. He's still under contract with RCR for one more year, so that wouldn't necessarily work out since Legacy is trying to get the charter desperately for next season. So that wouldn't really line up as far as the Kyle Busch timeline. I should say. To me, Teresa is a swear word. I don't like to say her name out loud. One of the biggest villains in NASCAR history, even still, says Napa Racing fan. The Earnhardt doc also dove into Kelly, which DEI didn't end the way it did, but she stood in the way, says Napa Racing fan. That seems to be, like I said, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really. I don't want to dive too much into it, but that seems to be what everybody has put together from the information that we have. Hi, y'all. LLC from the work phone from North Idaho. What's up, Cassandra? Hope you're doing good today, as always, my friend. It's Colleague Nation. I've seen it for the first time today. Okay, so Colleague Nation is the name of the YouTube channel that I'm referring to, where I saw that this afternoon. So shout out to them for covering it, and good on them. Hey, Cassandra, says one wise guy. I've seen videos pop up for Colleague Nation, but never watched them, says Napa Racing fan. It was pretty cool the way they do their channel. I like their graphics and stuff like that. So I'd give them a try. And it's only like I think maybe a 5 or 6 minute video. So nothing too crazy. And he just sort of, gets right into the point of what he's talking about. What's up? And throws some serious shade at Jordan Bianchi. Like they are not Jordan Bianchi fans. What's up, BB and everyone? Suarez has had his shot at top tier teams. Time for him to go, says T-Van. So T-Van is not on the Suarez train. He would stick with SVG and go with Zilich to fill in the 99. Do you think Ty Norris came in and told Matt Colleague that your main focus has to be on Cup? We can see that on track and performance. Xfinity is struggling while Cup is trending up, says Dirty Def. Yeah, Ty Norris knows what he's doing. So he probably put not only that, but he probably knew some people to put in place to help him out. And get them to that next level in Cup, where they had been sort of struggling quite a bit. If Trackhouse gets rid of Daniel Suarez, do they keep fielding the 99, or do they move to a different number, says Sir Wood Rooster? The 99 seems to be like a big part of their thing because they like having the 1 and the 99. So I think they do keep the 99. So I think Connor Zilich would be driving the 99 for sure. I always like to say they could shorten the time in races by eliminating stage cautions. That's a fact, Napa Race fan. That's at least 20 minutes, if not more. Facts. One wise guy saying Sam Elliott. Yeah, so Sam Elliott is the name of the guy from Roadhouse and the Big Lebowski that I was trying to remember. But he does the Guts, Glory, Ram.